After the massive terrorist attack launched by Al-Qaeda upon the United States in 2001, anything seemed possible, and all eyes returned to the country of Iraq, ruled for 2 decades or more by the notorious dictator Saddam Hussein. Saddam had once used weapons of mass destruction upon his own people, the Kurds, who lived in the northern region of his country. In 2003, the UN ordered another inspection of the nation of Iraq, which Saddam fluffed off, giving the United States and its allies rationale for entering and deposing the notorious dictator. Sitting with us today is an Iraqi war veteran. This is Delbert Hopkins. Del, good to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Can you tell us which branch of the service you were a part of?
I was part of the Army from 2006 to 2012.
2006 to 2012, and you served in Iraq, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us what your motivation was for entering the service?
I originally wanted to get money for school. My mom and my dad, they were originally paying for me to go to school. In 2003, they ended up separating, and they couldn't afford for me to go out after that. And after school, I started working at Walmart. Then I got a job at Home Depot, and I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. I was sleeping on my friend's couch, and one day I was working at Home Depot, and I had a customer come in, and he was looking for some materials for a project he was working on. After we found all the materials he was looking for, he just said to me, I can tell you don't like this job. Have you ever thought about joining the Navy? And I said no, and then he got into all the benefits I could get if I joined the Navy. And that's what originally put the idea to join the military in my head. But I didn't see myself being in the Navy, so I started looking into the Army or the Marines. And at that time, the Army was giving out a $20,000 signing bonus because this was the peak of the Iraq War. Every time you would turn on the news, you would hear things about soldiers getting killed or shot, blown up. So nobody really wanted to join during that time period. So the Army started giving out $20,000 signing bonuses, and that's what made me pick the Army.
So the money was a great incentive for you, but as you say, by 2006, the war wasn't going so well by then. And what did we lose, between 4,000 and 5,000 men in that war?
Altogether, by the end of the war, it was close to 4,000, 3,800 casualties.
Yeah. So you chose to enter at a very, very, very perilous time, did you not?
Right, I did.
Yeah. Where was your basic training?
Fort Benning, Georgia.
And how was that?
It was pretty intense. It was more mental than physical. If you go into it like having like self-doubt and you don't have a lot of confidence that you can get through it, you're going to have like a pretty hard time. But it's just like how it is in the movies. You get off the bus, the drill sergeants are yelling and screaming in your face, and you get up at 4 in the morning, go for a run, and come back, eat breakfast, and then you're like training all day. Like we would go out, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning, train until 10 at night, go to bed, and get up at 5 in the morning all over and do it all over again.
So were you prepared for the discipline? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it was what I thought it would be. And like I said, it was more mental than physical for me. It's like, I had the physical part down pretty good because I was already in shape, and I just had to deal with the mental aspects of it.
So you completed your basic training in 06, and then between 06 and the time you were deployed, what did you do in between?
Just train. I got the notification I was going to be deployed to Iraq in March of 2008. And then, we started training for about 6 months. And then in January of 2009 is when we actually deployed to Iraq.
Now, Del, you told us earlier about sort of a baptism by fire. You were involved in a fierce and ferocious gun battle, were you not? Almost instantaneously upon deployment?
Yeah, like our third week of actually doing missions. Like when we first got to Iraq, for the first 2 weeks, all we did was just get our vehicles right. We got our like live ammunition, and we just got ready to start doing missions. And like the third week of actually being in Iraq, we moved off of the main base and we moved onto this base with some Iraqi police. And we basically just lived there. Like we had like some trailers right behind the police station, and we lived there and we would do missions out of there. And maybe like our 5th or 6th day of being out there, it was February 21st of 2009. My platoon sergeant, he came to a trailer where we lived at, and he's like, there's a route clearance convoy that just got attacked. Route clearance, they just go out and they look for like IEDs and like roadside bombs and.
Tell us what an IED is, please.
An IED is an improvised explosive device. That's the roadside bomb is an IED, and it can be anything from a radio, a TV.
That's rigged.
Yeah, and they can bury it in the side of the road or take a dead animal and stuff it inside the animal. They can put piles of trash on top of it, and you ride past it. They just set it off on you, And that night, a route clearance convoy was going out looking for IEDs, and one of their vehicles ended up being hit. It blew out all the tires and blew out all the lights, but the driver survived. And the other people that were in the convoy, they all got out to check on the driver. And as they're walking out, this is like 4 or 5 in the morning, so it was still dark outside. They had their night vision goggles on, and as they're walking up to check on the driver, they looked off to the right of them, and there was like this field, and there was like 3 guys standing there with AKs recording them, and they started shooting at these guys, and somehow the guys ended up getting away. And my platoon, we were doing QRF that night. QRF stands for Quick Reaction Force. If there's a unit out in the sector that gets attacked or whatever and they need help, you call up a QRF, and QRF is usually an infantry platoon. So, and like I said, my platoon, we were assigned to be QRF that night. So, we got out there and we used our vehicles to block off both sides of the highway to the field where where the 3 guys went. And we got out our vehicles and we started shooting across this field to look for these guys. And I said we were sweeping across this field for like an hour, and like we couldn't find them. So they ended up sending out a drone, and the drone was flying overhead for about a half hour. And all of a sudden, it spotted 3 guys hiding in some really thick vegetation. We were going off in this direction, and the guys, they were like over in this area. So we turned back around, and where these guys were at, like it was like this, it was like an open space inside of the field where there was no vegetation. It was just a clearing. And on the other side of this clearing is where these guys were hiding. It was like walking across a football field. So we all got online. We started shooting across this field,